Shells scream overhead. The canvas walls of the field hospital tremble as dust falls from the support beams. The war is closing in. Every explosion reminds the men inside that death hasn't forgotten them yet. Private James Calloway, 24 years old, lies on a blood-stained stretcher. His uniform is soaked crimson below the ribs. A piece of shrapnel, jagged, dirty, has torn into his abdomen when a German mortar hit his squad's convoy. He breathes in short, panicked bursts. A nurse presses his shoulder down. "Stay with us, soldier. Don't look at the wound." But he does, and he sees the torn flesh, the intestines exposed beneath shredded fabric. Major William Harper, U.S. Army surgeon, pulls off his gloves, hands trembling. Not from fear, from exhaustion. 70 hours awake. No replacements. Too many bodies coming in. Too many still alive, crying, shouting, begging for him to save them. He reaches for the morphine tray. Empty. A hush spreads across the surgical team. A silence more terrifying than the bombardment outside. Harper mutters, "We're out, completely out." The nurse swallows hard. She whispers, "We still have ether." But the last bottle was spilled during an air raid the previous night. Calloway hears them. His eyes widen, too young to accept dying awake. Harper steps closer, voice low but firm. "Private, listen to me. We have to operate now, or you won't last another 10 minutes. Calloway tries to push himself up. I can feel everything. You can't." Harper grabs his hand, gripping hard. "I know, but you will not die here. I won't let you." Outside, another detonation booms. The lamp above flickers, almost goes out. Harper turns to his assistant and says the unthinkable. "Prepare the nerve clamps." Metal tools clatter as the nurse opens a tray rarely touched. Thin, cold steel designed to pinch specific nerves, cutting off sensation to parts of the body. Crude. Dangerous. But sometimes, war leaves no other choice. Harper pulls a stool to sit eye level with the wounded private. "James, look at me." The young soldier's breathing shakes. Tears form. "If you panic," Harper continues, "your heart will give out. Fear kills faster than steel." Calloway forces himself to nod. He wants to live, even if it means feeling the hands inside his body. The team works fast. Every second counts. They strap both arms down. Leather belts bite into the skin. Sponge. Scalpel. The routine begins. Harper presses his fingers, searching the right nerve bundle. He finds it. He clamps. Hard. Calloway gasps, limbs shaking. Then a strange numbness spreads across his midsection. Not relief. Not safety. Just a partial escape from the horror. Harper whispers to the nurse, "It won't numb everything." She whispers back, "He doesn't need to know that." The surgeon picks up the blade. We begin. He cuts. There is no anesthetic fog to hide behind. No drifting into darkness. Every slice, every tug of flesh translates into pressure, movement, a deep twisting agony that burns into the mind. Calloway bites down so hard on the leather strap between his teeth that blood seeps from his gums. His eyes roll and fix on the tense ceiling, counting the stains above him like rosary beads. "Shrapnel located," Harper says, reaching inside the gaping wound. Calloway tries not to scream, tries not to thrash. His fingers curl so violently they nearly break. "Easy, easy," Harper murmurs, like calming a terrified animal. He extracts the metal shard, drenched in blood and fragments of uniform cloth. Infection is almost guaranteed, but if they leave it, death will be certain and quick. The wound pulses with dark red. Too much blood. Clamp. The nurse hands another tool, hands shaking. Harper glances toward the entrance flap. Outside, stretchers line the ground. More soldiers, more torn bodies, more lives waiting their turn to gamble with agony. The medic wipes sweat from Calloway's forehead. "You're doing good, kid. Real good." But Calloway isn't listening anymore. He's staring at the surgeon, eyes wide and wild, like he's witnessing something he never imagined a human could survive. A cold truth settles over the room. War has turned doctors into butchers and survival into a punishment. Harper sews the final stitches, cutting thread with trembling scissors. His mask drops slightly, revealing how deeply he's shaking. "It's done," he whispers. Calloway doesn't respond. He's breathing, but his mind is somewhere else, somewhere far from the sound of steel biting flesh. Harper stands, staring down at his own blood-soaked hands. This was only the first of many. Voices outside scream for help. Another body is carried in, missing a leg, bones exposed. There's no time to rest. The war demands more. Harper makes himself move. Because the next soldier will also be awake. Cut to black. Heartbeat pounding. Breath trembling. A whisper over darkness. Surgery without anesthesia. Where fear itself decides who lives and who dies. The buzzing of flies mixes with the groans of the wounded. The field hospital reeks of iodine, rot, and terror, an unmistakable perfume of war. Sergeant Robert Bobby Hayes, 32, is wheeled in next. His right arm is mangled, a machine gun round shredded his elbow. Bone fragments stick out like broken ivory. He sees Calloway lying nearby, eyes open but empty. Hayes whispers hoarsely to the nurse. Did they knock him out? The nurse doesn't answer. She doesn't need to. Hayes sees the truth in Calloway's trembling fingers. Major Harper approaches, pulling on a new pair of gloves already stained before he begins. Sergeant Hayes, your arm is infected. We have to remove the elbow joint. Now. Hayes forces a bitter laugh, trying to mask his fear. So, am I supposed to stay awake while you cut me apart? Harper clenches his jaw. We'll numb what we can. The nurse straps Hayes down. Leather buckles tighten. He realizes escape isn't possible. He realizes pain is coming. Outside, aircraft engines grow louder. German Stukas preparing another run. Everyone hears them. Everyone ignores them. There is no choice. Harper signals the clamps again. This time, Hayes doesn't stay quiet. Jesus Christ, don't touch, don't touch. The clamp bites the nerve. His body jerks violently. Harper speaks sharply, almost a command. Breathe, Sergeant. Fight like a soldier. Hayes grits his teeth until it feels like they might shatter. A medic forces a wooden stick into his mouth before he bites off his own tongue. The scalpel descends. Metal slices through muscle, tissue tearing with a wet sound. Hayes doesn't feel the cutting on the skin, but he feels the pulling, the sawing, the grinding against bone. It is a torture the mind never forgets. His muffled cries vibrate through the stick. Tears stream down past the dirt on his cheeks. Harper saws through the joint, every scrape of metal against bone echoing inside Hayes' skull. Then the worst part, the dislocation. Harper grips the shattered arm and jerks. The shoulder wrenches. The nerves scream. Hayes screams with them, the sound raw and primal. The nurse leans in, whispering, "You're still here. That means you're winning. Don't give the Reaper the satisfaction." Harper works fast, too fast, stitching flesh like a tailor rushing a torn coat. Time is the enemy. Infection is the enemy. Pain is the enemy. But fear is the traitor. Hayes stares at the ceiling, chest heaving. He survived. Physically. Harper stands, breath shaky. His voice cracks. Next. The flap opens. A British stretcher-bearer rushes in with a soldier from the Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire Light Infantry, Private Thomas Ellery. His abdomen is pierced by a bayonet. Raw intestines spill out, exposed to air and flies. He clutches a photo in his hand, a young woman holding a newborn child. Harper kneels beside him. What's her name? Ellery forces the word out through red-stained lips. Amelia. Harper nods once. Then we fight for Amelia. Ellery tries to speak again, but coughs blood. His fingers tighten around the photograph. The clamps go on. The scalpel goes down. Ellery's eyes fly wide, full of shock and unfiltered agony. He isn't as brave as Hayes. He screams for mercy. For his wife. For God. The scream is so piercing that the other wounded turn their heads, horrified by the reality awaiting them. The surgeon works deeper, hands inside the body, searching for the torn artery. Ellery feels every movement, every tug, every rearranged organ. Hold him, Harper orders. 3 medics press down to keep him from ripping free of the straps. The soldier sobs, voice cracking. I don't want to die. Please, I can feel everything. Harper's voice breaks too, barely above a whisper. So can we. The stitching finishes. The artery is sealed. But Ellery has gone silent. His hand slips from the photograph. It falls to the floor, face down, into a puddle of his own blood. Harper checks for a pulse. There is none. The team doesn't pause. They cannot grieve. They move his body aside and wipe down the table. War takes the dead, but the living must carry their screams. Harper steps back, staring at the line of stretchers outside, stretching farther than he can see. He whispers to himself, "If there is a hell, this is only the waiting room." Lights flicker again as bombs shake the ground. The tent feels smaller. The cries louder. The fear thicker. And the surgeon's hands, steady as steel minutes ago, now tremble uncontrollably. The wounded keep coming. Private Louis Becker, only 19, is dragged in by two medics. His left leg is twisted unnaturally, snapped at the femur when a Panzer tank shell flipped his transport truck. Becker sees the operating table. He sees the restraints. He sees the clamps. He sees Sergeant Hayes, unconscious and shivering from trauma, his arm wrapped in a bloody dressing. Becker freezes. His breath shortens. No, no, please. I can't be awake for this. Harper crouches beside him. Son, listen. If we don't set that bone now, infection will rot the limb before sunrise. Becker's panic rises like a flood. His heartbeat rages. Hands tremble violently. His mind races faster than reason. The nurse tries to soothe him. We've done this before. Soldiers survive, but only if they stay calm. A medic gently lifts Becker's dog tag. What's her name? He asks, noticing a folded note tucked behind it. Becker's lips quiver. Margaret, my sister. I promised I'd come home. Harper gives a single nod. Then breathe. For Margaret. But Becker shakes his head, tears streaming. I feel everything. I'll feel every cut. Harper replies with brutal honesty. You will feel pain, but fear will kill you before the scalpel does. Another explosion, closer, rattles the support poles. Dust sifts down like ash from a burning sky. Becker screams as they strap him down. He thrashes, teeth chattering, drenched in sweat. Harper orders the nerve clamps. Again, the nurse hesitates. Sir, these tools weren't meant for this many procedures. Harper doesn't respond. His eyes look hollow, like something human inside him is dying, piece by piece. Apply the clamp. She obeys. The metal bites nerves deep in Becker's thigh. He jerks, nearly breaks the restraint. His scream echoes, but his leg numbs, mostly. The splinting begins. Harper presses broken bone fragments into alignment, grinding, shifting. Even numb, Becker feels the deep pressure, a nightmare inside his own flesh. He sobs, gasping for air. Make it stop, please. I'm begging you. Harper's voice is calm, but steel hard. You beg later. Right now, you survive. Each movement sends waves of pain slamming through Becker's consciousness. He nearly blacks out. Nearly. The nurse wipes blood and tears from his face. You're almost there, sweetheart. Just look at me. Look at my eyes. But Becker's gaze moves past her, to the entrance. Another stretcher arrives. This time, the dying man isn't American. He wears the shredded gray of a German Fallschirmjäger paratrooper, not much older than Becker. His chest is impaled by what splinters from an exploded barn. He coughs, blood staining his teeth. A British medic explains. We found him near the hedgerows. Our bullets, their bullets, doesn't matter anymore, does it? Harper steps over. War demands impossible choices, even saving the enemy. The paratrooper groans a single English word. Bit. Please. His hand reaches for help, shaking violently. Becker watches, stunned. You're going to help him? Harper answers with weary certainty. Yes. I am a doctor before I am anything else. The German's eyes glimmer with gratitude and fear. He sees the clamps. He sees the blood. He understands what kind of horror awaits. He whispers, no sleep? Harper shakes his head. The paratrooper whimpers like a terrified child. Harper must cut deep into muscle, remove wood shards embedded near the lung. He clamps the nerves. The German cries out, voice cracking on a single word repeated over and over. Mutti, Mutti, mother, mother. Harper's hands shake. He pauses mid-procedure, eyes wet. The nurse whispers, Sir, if you hesitate, he dies. Harper nods. He forces himself to continue. The German survives the extraction, but barely. His pulse stutters. He's fading fast. Becker, still strapped down, stares in disbelief. Why save him? He'd kill us if he could. Harper answers without looking up. Pain makes us enemies. Saving one another makes us human. He turns to Becker. Remember that, if you want to remain whole. Becker's panic begins to settle, very slowly. A strange calm pushes back against his fear. He whispers, Will I walk again? Harper meets his eyes. If fear doesn't cripple you first. Becker nods, just once. A vow. He chooses to live. Harper bandages Becker's leg, giving a final pat before standing. More stretchers arrive. More screams. More unimaginable surgeries. The war doesn't pause. Neither can Harper. His voice is a whisper lost among the chaos. How many awake must suffer before this ends? He takes a step toward the next patient, knees nearly buckling, but he forces himself upright, because every soldier still breathing is waiting for him, and hope is bleeding out. Night falls, but darkness brings no peace here. The dim lanterns flicker over metal trays piled with discarded gauze, broken clamps, and fingers of dried blood coating every surface like rust. Outside the tent, the cries never stop. Pain does not follow a schedule. Harper scrubs his hands again, though they will never feel clean. Skin raw, knuckles cracked, nails lined with the blood of dozens. He stares at the basin, water now the color of wine, swirling down the drain like lives slipping away. The next stretcher rolls in. Lieutenant Samuel Price, mid-30s, face pale beneath grime and smoke. A sniper's bullet lodged deep near his spine. One wrong movement, and he will never walk again. Price meets Harper's eyes with a steadiness that unnerves everyone in the room. No morphine? He asks. Harper shakes his head. Price chuckles, a dry, humorless sound. Good. Means I'll remember I survived. Harper almost smiles, but his lips refuse to move. He nods to the team. Restrain him. Carefully. The clamps find the nerves along the ribs. The tension in Price's jaw is the only sign he feels anything as steel touches him. The scalpel slides in. There is no scream, but his fingers dig so deep into the stretcher canvas that the fabric tears beneath him. Harper works slowly, too close to the spinal cord for haste. His hands tremble once, just once, and he forces them still. Price speaks through clenched teeth. You've done this before? Not like this, Harper admits. Price inhales sharply as tweezers click against bone. Harper murmurs, I see the bullet. Price's voice is strangled. Take it as a souvenir. Harper tries to steady his breathing. But fatigue is no longer just exhaustion. It's a hallucination. The tent walls bulge and ripple. The smell of blood becomes overpowering. Harper closes his eyes for half a heartbeat, just half, and Price almost slips away. Stay awake, Lieutenant. Harper snaps, but he is speaking as much to himself. With a final twist, the bullet drops into a metal tray with a cruel clink. Price's entire body shudders, then relaxes, relief surging like a tidal wave. You did it, he whispers. Harper wants to answer, wants to feel triumph. But the next stretcher is already at the entrance. A medic breathes heavily, voice cracking. Sir, it's Corporal Daniels. Harper's heart stutters. Daniels, his own medical assistant just hours ago. The young man who fetched tools, rolled bandages, whispered hope into dying ears. Now he lies limp, uniform soaked scarlet, a gaping wound stretching across his torso. Harper sees the desperate plea in the medic's eyes. Save him. Harper pushes the cart in himself. No straps. Daniels can barely move. Harper's voice softens, barely audible. We'll fix you up, son. Daniels tries to speak, blood bubbling between his teeth. I stayed brave, like you said. Harper's breath catches. He clamps the nerves. Daniels gasps, the sound small, like a wounded child. Scalpel. Retraction. Search for the bleeding vessel. But Harper's vision blurs. He blinks, shakes his head, tries again. He can't afford a mistake. Not with Daniels. Not with one of his own. Suddenly, Harper's hands freeze. He is staring inside Daniels's open chest. But he sees every other soldier he has opened that day. All the pain. All the screams. All the awake surgeries. His lungs seize. He can't inhale. A nurse touches his shoulder. Major? Harper's whisper is cracked and fragile. I can't do this anymore. He staggers back from the table, hands slick with blood that won't wash off his conscience. He grips a support pole, trying to anchor himself, but he slides down to the ground, eyes burning with tears he refuses to shed. The tent spins. The voices grow distant. For the first time, Harper looks as broken as the men he tries to save. Daniels reaches out, fingers trembling, searching blindly for his mentor. His voice weak as dying flame. Sir, don't leave me. That plea pulls Harper from the pit. He snaps back to his feet, rage at his own weakness burning away the fog. No, I will not fail you. He moves faster than he has all day. One last surge of stubborn humanity. He clamps the artery, stitching with furious precision. Daniels gasps, heartbeat pounding again. Alive. Harper finishes the sutures and slumps into a chair. breathing like he sprinted a mile under fire. Daniels is alive, but Harper is unraveling. The nurse whispers, unable to hide the dread. How much longer can you keep doing this? A fresh shell explodes outside, shockwave rattling the tent. Harper looks toward the entrance. New stretchers, new screams, new terror. His answer is barely a breath. As long as they keep coming. He rises, slow, shaky, but determined. He steps toward the next soldier. And the night has only begun. The war outside grows louder. But inside this tent, the battle is more intimate, more personal, more horrifying. Harper barely feels his own limbs anymore. Every step is instinct. Every breath is a reminder that he is still human, and therefore still breakable. The next casualty arrives without a stretcher. He walks into the tent on his own. Corporal Eddie Morris, face pale, clutching his stomach as though trying to keep himself in one piece. Blood squeezes through his fingers like water leaking between cracks. He forces a crooked smile. "Doc, sorry to bother you. Think I sprung a leak." Then he collapses. Harper and the team rush him onto the table. They cut open his jacket. A bullet hole just above the hip. Small entrance, devastating exit. Harper knows immediately. This one requires hands deep inside the body. This one means the soldier will feel a surgeon rooting through organs in real time. He steadies himself, whispering, "You're safe here." A lie wrapped in hope. Nerve clamp. Scalpel. The routine of nightmares. As Harper works elbow deep in the corporal's abdomen, Morris' voice trembles. "Will I see home again?" Harper doesn't answer, but his silence is too loud. Then, the lantern sputters and dies. Total darkness. A heartbeat of terror. Voices rise. "Light. We need light." "I'm trying, sir." "Matches. Where are the goddamn matches?" Hands scramble blindly. Outside. A banshee wail. Artillery incoming. Boom. The world shakes. Metal trays crash. A rain of instruments clatters across the floor. Harper clamps a hand over the open wound, preventing organs from spilling out. If panic wins now, Morris dies. A nurse strikes a match. A tiny flame fighting absolute black. Harper sees just enough. The artery he needs to seal pumping bright red with each panicked beat of Morris's heart. He works by trembling orange firelight. Shadows of tools dancing across the tent walls like specters. The match burns out. Darkness again. Another match. Another flicker of life. Harper sews the final stitch just as the flame dies. Morris survives the abyss. Barely. Before anyone can exhale. Another voice cries out at the entrance. He's still breathing. "Move." A stretcher rushes in, carried by two medics covered in mud. On it, a soldier with half his face missing, jaw shattered by shrapnel. Air whistles through torn flesh. He gurgles, choking on his own blood. No name. No rank visible. Just a dying man. Harper doesn't speak. He dives in. His hands move like ghosts. But this time, the clamps can't help. This is reconstruction, not removal. Precision, when the surgeon has none left. Sweat drips into Harper's eyes. He blinks once. Twice. His vision doubles. He misses a stitch. The wound pulls apart, bleeding harder. A nurse gasps. "Sir, your hands." Harper bites down a scream of frustration. He grabs a fresh needle. Focus. Focus. He fights his own failing body. A duel between resolve and collapse. He manages to stabilize the airway. A miracle stitched from desperation. The soldier breathes. A torn, rattling breath. But breath nonetheless. Harper places a hand on the man's shoulder, whispering something only the dying can hear. He steps away. And then everything stops. Silence. Not outside. The bombs, the screams continue. But inside Harper, everything goes quiet. His hands hang limp. His gaze is hollow. He doesn't hear the calls for help. He doesn't see the next stretcher waiting. His body sways. A nurse rushes to catch him. "Major, Harper, look at me." Nothing. His eyes stare through her, as if the souls of every man he cut open tonight are pulling him somewhere far away. "Doctor, please," she begs. "We still need you." Slowly, Harper blinks. A tear rolls down, carving a clean line through the blood on his cheek. He turns to the doorway. The queue of wounded is still growing. This night is endless. He steps toward them anyway.